Hi, you guys. It is Thursday, October 8th, 2015. My name is Doris, and this is the Knit and Purl Podcast, episode 68. You can find the show notes for this podcast on knitandpurl.net. The Purl is P-E-A-R-L. In social media, I am One Fine Cow. On Ravelry and Twitter, I am One Fine Design. On Facebook and Etsy, that is the number one. And I am Doris M. Smith, all smooshed together on Instagram. This podcast has a Ravelry group, which is the Knit and Purl podcast group. Links in the show notes. And this week we have 3 new members. We'll start with, we have Frog Princess 21CA, who is Tanya from Canada. We have Jen Likes Yarn, who is Jen from Pennsylvania, and Jen has a podcast, which is the Beer Knits podcast on YouTube, and she has a group as well. So I enjoy watching her podcast, by the way. And we have Brian Knits 12, who is Brian, and he is from Virginia, and he has I know he has at least one video up on YouTube, Brian Knits. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining the group. Make yourself at home. Start a thread if you need to, want to. And thank you very much. In the Ravelry group, we have birthday shout-outs. And this week we have 4 birthdays. Mary Knits a Lot, who is Mary. Her birthday is today. Happy birthday, Mary. Betta Prince. Her birthday is on the 10th of October. Crafty Josie, who is Josie, her birthday is on the 11th. And Alicia 203, who is Alicia, her birthday is on the 14th. So happy birthday. I hope you have a wonderful birthday, that you get to spend time with your friends and family if that's what you want to do. And if you want cake, I hope you get cake. Happy birthday. And moving into, we're having a October pink along for breast cancer awareness. The rules for this cowl, K-A-L or C-A-L, is that you must be a member of the group to qualify for prizes. We start the project on October 1st or after and completed and posted by October 31st. You can have as many entries as items complete of the yarny related type. Finished objects must be pink in nature, and double dipping, triple dipping is welcome and encouraged. Well, it's welcome because it being Pinktober, Den Nets does a Pinktober, so I'm sure there are other people, but so chatters welcome and encouraged. The prize is a $6 or less giftable pattern on Ravelry, which has been donated by a group member, and I say thank you so much. And if you want to donate to the podcast, you can contact me via Ravelry, via I have an email, which is knitandpurl@gmail.com. I think that's correct. Well, if you go on my website, there's a contact, and there's the email is there. So if you are a new Etsy store owner, or you have a product that you would like to be promoted, you can donate products for gift for, the cows. I do one every month. Or we can do a special contest with your Etsy store, or however you want to do it. If you have something that you want to promote and you want me to review, or you want to donate from your stash or whatever for prizes, they are so welcome, and I would really appreciate it. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So, thank you, group member who donated that giftable pattern for the October knit along. Story of the week and stash. No stash. Nothing really to talk about for the story of the week except that I had my first pumpkin spice latte on Saturday, and I enjoyed it so much, and I know what all the fuss is about now. And I might just make it a Saturday routine to have a pumpkin spice latte. Yes, it was really good. Also, I've cooked a couple really nice fall, getting into the cooler weather, fall meals over the weekend, and got to see a couple of the grandsons on Sunday. They stayed with me while Mom and Dad went fishing. And I started my crochet pattern that's been in my head. Instead of getting out the shrug pattern that's almost completed, I started another project. Anyway, I'll have to wait till I get one of the big projects off the needles and pull that out. So that is all of the story and the stash. And there are no foes, so we'll get right into the whips. In no particular order. And this is going really fast, but it's okay. In my bag that I got from Faye, who is made by Faye on Ravelry and has a podcast, Spinning a Yarn Monday. So cute. Are my Rose City Rollers. And I did get quite a bit of work done on them this week. I'm very happy with that. I set a goal and I did it. Here's the first one, which may or may not fit me. So I was at the bottom of the heel flap last week. I think I had 4 more rows to do. So I did that. I turned the hill and I finished the gusset. So the Rose City Rollers is a free pattern on Ravelry by Mara Catherine Briner. The yarn I'm using is messed up skein of Plymouth Yarn Stiletto. The color is a number, which is 802. My needles are my Carbons US 2.75 millimeter. Can you see it? Oh, Jesus. There we go. Those are the needles. Could have just done that. I like these a lot. Although, I'm getting tired of knitting on double point needles, so I'll be glad to cast on another pair of socks magic loop soon. Well, not soon. The next pair of socks will be toe up and magic loop. Yes, I'm going to try it. Second project is in my Joanne Springs Knit Spin Farm bag. Links in the show notes to her Etsy store. She does bats and bags and napkins and all of that stuff. So, I have my Bactus scarf, which is also a free pattern on Ravelry. But it's from, I can't say her name, Strickelis. And the yarn is Red Heart Boutique Unforgettable. The colorway is Stained Glass. And I am knitting this on my Knitter's Pride Dreams, and I'm using a 7 US 7, which is a 4.5 millimeter, 40-inch circular. And I like it. Here's where I was last week. So my plan is to make it a more of a chalette type thing. So I'm thinking I'm going to use both skeins of yarn. I'm thinking. So that it'll be more chalette-y instead of just a scarf. And I want to say, I was watching Sissy from Sissy Knits and Crochets, her podcast the other day. And she was using some of this Red Heart Boutique Unforgettable to make a shawl, and she was like saying that it was like fuzzy, and that she hopes that it's not fuzzy with her finished project. I have knit with this quite a bit, and I hate to say, Sissy, it stays fuzzy, but I'm okay with it. I like it a lot. It's very soft and nice. So it does stay fuzzy, Sissy, just so you know. Yeah, that is my plans for that. And this pattern is just garter with increase on one side until you get to where you want to be as far as how you want it to look, and then you start decreasing. So it's all garter, which I love, but some people, like I said, you either hate or you love it. So I love it. Right now I love it. All garter all the time. It's simple. And the pattern is a 4-row repeat. It's very simple to remember. Next is my Simple Raglan Cardi, which is a free pattern on Ravelry from Lion Brand Yarns. My yarn I'm not going to show you because I've been fighting knots and it's a mess. It's loops and threads. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm finding it. Loops and threads, Snuggly Wuggly, which is 100% acrylic. The color is Doodle Dots. The needles are US 7s, which is 4.5 millimeter, and these are my Hiya-Hiyas. No, they're not. They're my Addy Turbos. I modified the pattern because I'm using, what, 7s? These are 8s. The pattern calls for 6 and 7s, and I'm using 7 and 8s because I want it to be more flowy and I want it to fit. So, I also added garter ridges because I needed to break up the all the stockinette. So also, see, I told you I was going to add more. I went really crazy and just started knitting because it went faster. So there's where I was last week. So, an inch and a half done. And I just discovered, I put this up to me. Yeah, I think I'm done with the body. I think because I'm anal, I'm going to add one more. So it's 5. Number 5 ridges. And then I'm going to do, I think 1.5 to 2 inches of ribbing and call the body done. So is my cardi. So that leaves the sleeves, and the front panel has a you pick up stitches and do another like 2 inches of ribbing. So it's getting closer to being done because I don't want it to be a long, just something to put on when I'm chilly. So that's the deal with that. And I have the next project in my Joanne Springs Knit Spin Farm bag number 2 is my Freesia. Still on ball number 2. For some, I misplaced the pattern. But the Freesia is a bot pattern on Ravelry by Jumper Cables. The yarn is Barocco Vintage DK. It is 52% acrylic, 40% wool, 8%. Wait a minute, is that it? Nylon. Okay. I've never read that before. And I don't have it in my notes. So it's 52% acrylic, 40% wool, and nylon. So it'll be long wearing. So the color is a number, which is 2183. My needles are my US 6 4mm squares. And these needles, I'm just going to get out the package. Square circular needles by Colleague. So funny, I knitted my other Freesia with these. This is the only thing I've used the squares for, I think, is just for my Freesia. I like it. I like, but again, sometimes the squareness kind of hurts the fingers. But anyway, here's where I was. Let me make sure here's where I was last week. So I think I got a pattern repeat and a half completed. And I've ended up putting these blue things so I can count easier. So 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, almost 18. 18 of 24 patterns to be finished. So it's getting closer. Getting into the longer rows. And there's the beautiful pattern, lace work pattern. And I said I would never have more than 4, but I do. My 5th project is the pattern that has been in my head, dying to come out. This is something that I'm sorry, I'm talking off screen. I'm trying to get everything organized here. So this is the pattern that's been in my head, and in my 20s, I crocheted this. I don't remember much about it. I don't know if it didn't fit or because I can't remember wearing it. So here it is. I'm using a crochet hook. Yes, sissy, I do crochet. Let me pull this up. It is a crochet tunic pattern that it's a work in progress. I'm using an I, which is a 9, a 5.5 millimeter, and this is just boy. I started with an H. I'm just doing, this is just trial and error to see, because I started with an H, and because I wanted a little more firmness around the neck. And then I changed after, I think, 5 rounds to the bigger needle just for drape. Here is the start of my crochet tunic. So like I said, this has been a design that's been in my head for a while. And, I crocheted something like this in my 20s. So this time I am just trying to just write the pattern as I go along. And here we go. Let me show you. When I try to design something and I try to figure out the number of stitches and such, I do a weird thing. I'm not very good with concreteness of numbers in my head and putting numbers to a design in my head. I have to visualize it. So I'm going to show you a picture. It's kind of, I'm holding it back because it's got all my notes. So I have to like dash it out and say, okay, this is how many, and this is, so it's crazy, but this is how I design, figure out my beginning. You know, you do what you got to do to make things work, and that's how I do it because, like I said, concrete in the head numbers don't work for me. I have to see it. I have to visualize it to make sure that the numbers work. That's how I do. Anyway, the yarn I'm using is just Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo Row. And I'll probably have to get more. So, or I'll just pull something out of stash. I've got other pinks that, this is just my prototype, so, but I probably will wear it. Okay, that is all of my whips. And my spinning is the same. I didn't do any spinning this week. So that moves us on into Pinterest and Stumble. So, Pinterest this week, I've been seeing a lot of crochet patterns. Probably because, you know, whatever. You know, when you see crazy things, like you buy a certain type of car that you don't see on the street much, and then you see a whole bunch of them. So let me see, I'm going to go back to I am seeing a lot of crochet patterns, and this one is called the Granny Cocoon Shrug, which is a free pattern. And come up, please. It's loading. I think it's loading. Yeah, here it is. And let's see, which is going to be these. There we go. Is that cute or what? Oh, what are we doing here? So it has okay. I'm just going to show it like this. There's a link. You click on it, and there's a link to the actual pattern. Very cool. I want to do that. Sometimes we just need an extra 10 hours in the day, you know, to be able to do all the stuff we want. But I thought this was a very, very neat pattern. And I'm going to have to make it. There's another, this is a modification to the pattern. Come on. Very similar. But it doesn't, it's not like a granny one. You make a square, and then I want a bigger picture. Here it is. You just knit, you just crochet material until you get to certain measurements, and then do the same thing as far as oh boy, glare. But you do the same thing. You fold it in half so you can't really see it. But like I said, I've been seeing a lot of crochet patterns this week. The Stumble is a little, it's called The Story of the Butterfly. And I just want to read it because it's just beautiful to me. Even though it's not spring. everything coming alive. We're the opposite, but I thought this was a lovely story, and I'm going to read it. Story of a butterfly. A man found a cocoon of a butterfly. One day, a small opening appeared. He sat and watched the butterfly for several hours as it struggled to squeeze its body through the tiny hole. Then it stopped as if it couldn't go further. So the man decided to help the butterfly. He took a pair of scissors and snipped off the remaining bits of cocoon. The butterfly emerged easily, but it had a swollen body and shriveled wings. The man continued to watch it, expecting that any minute the wings would enlarge and expand enough to support the body. Neither happened. In fact, the butterfly spent the rest of its life crawling around. It was never able to fly. What the man, in his kindness and haste, did not understand, the restricting cocoon and the struggle required for the butterfly to get through the opening was a way of forcing the fluid from the body of the wings so that it would be ready to fly once that was achieved. Sometimes struggles are exactly what we need in our lives. Going through life with no obstacles would cripple us. We will not be strong. We will not be as strong as we could have been, and we would never fly. And then it says, so have a nice day and struggle a little and teach well. I thought that was nice. Just kind of remind us that sometimes the struggles are building us for something. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I hope that you enjoy your craft of choice, and I'll see you next week. Bye, you guys.